Most people are quietly throwing away half the value of their points every single time they redeem them. Here's what that looks like in real numbers. You have 100,000 points sitting in your account. You redeem for cash back. You get $1,000. Done. Feels good, right? But here's what's actually possible with those exact same 100,000 points. A business class flight that retails for $3,500, a luxury hotel stay worth $2,200, or 2 round-trip international flights that would have cost you $1,800 out of pocket. The difference is not luck. It's not a special trick. It's just knowing which redemption method to use and which ones to avoid entirely. In this video, I'm breaking down 7 specific ways to use your credit card points in 2026, ranked from worst to best. We're covering Chase Ultimate Rewards, Amex Membership Rewards, Capital One Miles, and Citi Thank You Points. So no matter which cards you have, at least 4 or 5 of these apply to you right now. Let's get into it. Before we get to the 7 ways, you need to understand one thing that changes everything. Points don't have a fixed value. A point is not worth 1 cent. It's not worth 2 cents. It's worth whatever the redemption you choose pays out, and that number can swing wildly depending on what you do with them. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Every points program has a floor and a ceiling. The floor is what you get if you redeem the lazy way, usually around 0.6 to 1 cent per point. The ceiling is what you can get if you're strategic, anywhere from 1.5 cents to 5 cents per point, sometimes more. That gap is the entire game. On 100,000 points, the difference between the floor and the ceiling is literally $4,000. That's not a small rounding error, that's a free trip to Japan. So every way we're about to cover is really answering one question: how do you move from the floor toward the ceiling? Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. This is the one most people default to, and it is objectively the worst use of flexible travel points. When you redeem Chase, Amex, Capital One, or Citi points for cashback or a statement credit, here's what you get. Chase gives you about 1 cent per point. Capital One gives you 1 cent. Citi gives you 1 cent. And Amex? Amex gives you just 0.6 cents per point for statement credits. That means 100,000 Amex points redeemed for cashback is worth $600. Not $1,000, $600. Now, is cashback ever the right move? Yes, in one specific situation. If you're in a financial pinch and need to offset a bill right now, a statement credit can be useful. But as a travel strategy, it's the floor. You are leaving 50 to 80% of your points' real value on the table every time you do this. Think of it this way. You spent months earning those points. You put real purchases on your card to accumulate them. Cashing them out for 0.6 cents each is like selling a $1,000 guitar for $60 at a garage sale. The value is there. You're just not capturing it. This is the baseline. Everything from here is better. If you don't want to deal with transfer partners, airline programs, or any complexity, travel portals are your best friend. And depending on which card you have, they can give you a solid instant boost over cashback. Here's how it works. Instead of cashing out your points, you log into your card's travel portal. Chase Travel, Amex Travel, Capital One Travel, or Citi's portal, and book a flight or hotel directly using your points. The key is that some cards give you a boosted rate when you do this. The best example is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. When you book through the Chase Travel portal with a Reserve card, your points are worth 1.5 cents each. That's not 1 cent. That's 1.5 cents. Guaranteed, no transfers required. Run the numbers. 60,000 Chase points through the portal with a Sapphire Reserve equals $900 in travel. The same 60,000 points cashed out equals $600. You just got an extra $300 in travel value by simply booking through the right portal instead of redeeming for cash. The Chase Sapphire Preferred gives 1.25 cents per point through the portal. Capital One's portal gives 1 cent per point by default, but the Venture X card has some boosted rates on specific hotel and car rental bookings. Amex Travel gives 1 cent per point on flights, straightforward and easy. This method is perfect for beginners or anyone who books standard economy flights and just wants simplicity. You're not chasing award availability. You're not transferring irreversibly to an airline program. You book it like any other flight. Points come off the balance. Done. But this is where it gets interesting, because 1.5 cents per point through a portal is still not the ceiling, not even close. Ways 1 and 2 were about how to redeem. This one is about how to earn, and it directly determines how many trips you can take per year. Most people put all their spending on one card and earn 1 to 2 points per dollar across the board. That's fine. But if you route your spending strategically through the right cards for the right categories, you can earn 3, 4, even 10 points per dollar without spending a single extra cent. Here's what that looks like in practice. The Amex Gold Card earns 4 points per dollar at restaurants worldwide and 4 points per dollar at US supermarkets. If you spend $800 per month on food, groceries, and dining combined, that's 3,200 points per month. That's 38,400 points per year just from food, from one spending category, on purchases you are already making. The Chase Sapphire Preferred earns 3 points per dollar on dining, travel, and streaming. The Capital One Venture X earns 10 points per dollar on hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel, and 5 points per dollar on flights. Citi Strata Premier earns 3 points per dollar on air, hotels, restaurants, and groceries. Now here's the move. You don't need all of these cards. You need 2 or 3 that cover your biggest spending categories with no overlap. A common setup is the Amex Gold for dining and groceries, the Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve for travel and streaming, and one flat rate card for everything else. With that kind of setup, a person spending $3,000 per month across normal life categories, food, travel, bills, subscriptions, can realistically accumulate 60,000 to 80,000 points per year. That's a free international flight every year just from spending you were already doing. Earning faster means more redemptions. More redemptions mean more travel. And the strategies that follow are where those points turn into real trips. This is where the game changes completely. Every major flexible points program, Chase, Amex, Capital One, and Citi, lets you transfer your points directly to airline loyalty programs at a 1-to-1 ratio. One Chase point becomes 1 United mile. One Amex point becomes 1 Singapore Airlines KrisFlyer mile. One Citi point becomes 1 Air France Flying Blue mile. And when you use those airline miles to book award flights instead of buying tickets at cash price, the value per point can jump from 1 cent to 2, 3, even 4 cents. Here's the math on why this matters so much. Let's say there's a flight that retails for $1,200. In economy, if you book through the Chase Travel Portal at 1.5 cents per point, that costs you 80,000 points. But if that same flight is available as an award booking through United Mileage Plus for 35,000 miles, you transfer 35,000 Chase points to United and book the same seat for less than half the points. That's 3.4 cents per point of value on the same flight with the same card. Now let's talk about the best transfer partners for each program, because not all of them are equal. For Chase, the 2 standout partners are World of Hyatt for hotels and Virgin Atlantic Flying Club for flights. We'll cover Hyatt separately in a moment. Virgin Atlantic is powerful because it partners with airlines like Delta and ANA, which means you can book those carriers at Virgin's rates, which are often far cheaper than what Delta or ANA charge directly. Chase also transfers to United, Southwest, Air France, British Airways, and Singapore Airlines, all at 1-to-1. For Amex, the headline partners are Singapore Airlines KrisFlyer and Air France KLM Flying Blue. Singapore is one of the most acclaimed airlines in the world, and KrisFlyer is one of the most valuable redemption programs for premium cabin flights. Air France Flying Blue is excellent for booking Delta flights at lower rates than Delta's own program, a loophole we'll come back to in way number 7. For Capital One, the program has expanded significantly. Top partners now include Turkish Airlines, Air France, Singapore Airlines, and Avianca. Turkish Airlines Miles and Smiles is particularly well regarded for booking Star Alliance business class seats at very competitive mile rates. For Citi Thank You, TPG values these points at 1.9 cents each as of March 2026, one of the highest valuations among all flexible points currencies right now. Top Citi partners include Air France Flying Blue, Singapore Airlines, Turkish Airlines, and more than 18 total transfer partners. If you're not paying attention to Citi, you're sleeping on one of the most underrated programs out there. The key rule with all transfers: search for award space first, then transfer. Transfers are one-way and irreversible. You cannot undo a transfer if the flight you wanted disappears. Always confirm the award is available, lock in the booking if possible, then transfer your points and complete the reservation. Do that consistently, and you're operating at 2 to 3 cents per point on almost every redemption. Okay, so here's the part that, honestly, most people get wrong when it comes to hotel points. Not all hotel transfer partners are worth using. In fact, most of them are, well, value destroyers. Marriott Bonvoy points are valued at around 0.7 to 0.8 cents each. IHG points? Those are worth around 0.6 cents each. Wyndham is similar. So, if you transfer 30,000 Chase points into Marriott, which are worth about 2 cents each, and get back 30,000 Marriott points worth just 0.7 cents each, you just cut your points value by 65%. That's not a strategy. That's a mistake. But there is one major exception: World of Hyatt. Hyatt points are consistently valued at around 1.7 to 1.8 cents each. That's actually the highest valuation of any major hotel program. Chase transfers to Hyatt at a 1-to-1 ratio. So you take Chase points worth 2 cents each, transfer them to Hyatt at 1-to-1, and get Hyatt points worth 1.8 cents each. You're losing a little value on paper, but in practice, Hyatt lets you book hotels that have cash prices far above what the points chart would suggest. Here's a real scenario. A Hyatt property in a major city or resort destination might charge $350 to $500 per night in cash. That same room might cost 20,000 to 30,000 Hyatt points per night. If you transfer 25,000 Chase points to Hyatt and redeem for a $400 room, you just got 1.6 cents per point in value. That's well above the 1 cent portal baseline. And you got a premium hotel stay instead of a cash statement credit. So, the strategy here is pretty simple. Always run the comparison. What does the room cost in cash? What does it cost in Hyatt points? Divide. If the result is above 1.5 cents per point, it's a good redemption. If it's below, book with cash or points through a portal instead. Hyatt is genuinely one of the best redemption options in the entire points ecosystem, especially for travelers who care as much about where they stay as where they fly. This one is underused by almost everyone outside the hardcore points community. And that's a shame, because it's literally free value. No extra spending required. Chase, Amex, Capital One, and Citi all run periodic transfer bonuses to specific partner programs. A transfer bonus means that for a limited time, instead of getting 1,000 miles for every 1,000 points you transfer, you get 1,200 or 1,250 or even 1,500. That's a 20 to 50% bonus on every point you move. Here's a live example. As of March 2026, Chase is offering a 20% transfer bonus to British Airways Avios, Aer Lingus Air Club, and Iberia Club, all of which use the same Avios currency. That means 50,000 Chase points transferred during the bonus window becomes 60,000 Avios. You got 10,000 extra miles for free. Depending on how you redeem those Avios, that 10,000-mile bonus could be worth $150 to $300 in additional travel value. Amex recently offered a 30% Avios transfer bonus as well. Capital One and Citi run similar promotions throughout the year to various partners. The strategy here has two parts. First, keep a diversified portfolio of points across multiple programs. Chase, Amex, Capital One, Citi. Because each issuer runs bonuses to different partners at different times. Having all four means you can take advantage of almost any bonus that comes up. Second, subscribe to alerts. The best free sources for tracking transfer bonuses are the Points Guy, 10x Travel, and Frequent Miler. Set up email alerts or check these sites monthly. The rule is important though. Only transfer with a bonus if you have a specific redemption in mind. Transfers are still irreversible even during a bonus. Don't transfer speculatively just because the bonus looks exciting. Transfer, Because you have a flight or hotel locked and you want to maximize the value of that specific redemption. Timed right, transfer bonuses can push your effective value from 2 cents per point all the way up to 3 or even 4 cents. That's the difference between one trip and two. This is the most powerful strategy in the video. It's also the least understood by beginners, which is exactly why I'm ending here. Every major airline loyalty program has partner airlines. That means you can use one airline's miles to book a seat on a completely different carrier. And here's the key insight. The partner airline's award chart is often dramatically cheaper than the home airline's own award chart for the same seat. This is the loophole. You earn points from your credit card, transfer to Program A, and use Program A's partner pricing to book a flight on Airline B, at a fraction of what Airline B charges its own members. Let me walk through two specific examples. Example 1. Chase to Virgin Atlantic to ANA. Chase transfers to Virgin Atlantic Flying Club at 1-to-1. Virgin Atlantic is a partner of ANA, the Japanese carrier. You can use Virgin Atlantic miles to book ANA business class between the US and Japan. The cost is around 55,000 to 60,000 Virgin miles for a business class seat that retails in cash for $4,000 to $6,000. If you bought that ticket through the Chase travel portal, it would cost you 266,000 to 400,000 points. Instead, you're doing it for 60,000. That's 3 to 5 cents per point of value on the same seat. Example 2. Citi or Amex to Air France Flying Blue to Delta. Delta's own program, Sky Miles, is famously expensive and unpredictable, and it's cash price based, meaning a pricey cash ticket means a pricey award ticket too. But Air France Flying Blue is a SkyTeam Alliance partner of Delta. You can book Delta flights using Flying Blue miles. And Flying Blue uses a zone-based award chart, which means you pay a fixed number of miles based on the route, not the fluctuating cash price. Citi transfers to Flying Blue at 1-to-1 instantly. Amex does too. The result: a Delta domestic or transatlantic flight booked through Flying Blue often costs 30 to 50% fewer miles than booking the same seat through Delta's own program. You're flying the same plane, the same seat, the same route, but paying far fewer points. This is the partner loophole. It works because airlines set their own award charts for their own redemptions. But when a partner program prices the same seat, they use different charts, often more generous ones. The airlines know this exists. They allow it because it's part of their partner agreements. You're not exploiting a glitch. You're using the system exactly as designed. To find these opportunities, you don't need to be a points expert. Tools like Point.me, Roam, and Award Hacker let you search award availability across multiple programs simultaneously. You enter your origin, destination, and dates, and they show you which programs have space and at what cost. You then cross-reference with which programs your credit card points transfer when you find a good match, and book. The learning curve is real. The first time you do this, it will take some research, but the second and third time, it becomes routine. And the savings are enormous. We're talking about 100,000 points that cash back would value at $1,000, turning into a $3,500 business class seat. That's the actual ceiling of what flexible points can do. Let's bring it all together, because the contrast is striking. Here is the exact same 100,000 points redeemed 7 different ways. Redeemed for Amex statement credit, $600. That's 0.6 cents per point. The floor. Redeemed for cashback via Chase or Citi, $1,000. Better, but still the baseline. Booked through Chase travel portal with Sapphire Reserve, $1,500. That's a real 50% upgrade over cashback with zero complexity. Transferred to a mid-tier airline partner for economy flights, roughly $1,500 to $2,000, depending on the route and program. Transferred to Hyatt for hotel nights, $1,700 to $2,200 in room value, depending on property and dates. Transferred during a bonus window to an airline partner, $2,000 to $3,000, with the bonus multiplying every point you move. Used via the partner loophole for premium cabin redemptions, $3,000 to $5,000 in real travel value, business class, lie-flat seats, international routes, 100,000 points, 7 outcomes. A $4,400 difference between the worst and best redemption. The input is the same, the card is the same, the points are the same. The only variable is which method you choose. This is the core idea behind everything we cover on this channel. It's not about spending more. It's not about exotic tricks. It's about understanding that points have a range and deliberately choosing to operate at the top of it. So here's where to start if you're new to this. If you have Chase points, open the Chase travel portal and see what your Sapphire card gives you per point. Then look up Hyatt and see if any properties you care about are accessible with a transfer. That's your first two moves. If you have Amex points, look at Air France Flying Blue and Singapore Airlines KrisFlyer. Run a search on any upcoming trip you're planning and see what the cash price is versus the award price. The comparison will surprise you. If you have Capital One or Citi points, you're sitting on two of the most underrated flexible currencies in the market right now. Citi thank you points are valued at 1.9 cents per point by the Points Guy as of March 2026. Capital One now has 15+ transfer partners with competitive options like Turkish Airlines and Air France. Both programs punch above their reputation. The single best habit you can build starting today: before you book any flight or hotel, check the award price first. It takes 5 minutes. And once you start seeing the gap between cash price and points price, you'll never go back to cashing out for statement credits. All the cards mentioned in this video are linked in the description with the best current welcome offers. Those welcome bonuses are often 60,000 to 100,000 points after meeting a minimum spend, which, using the strategies we just covered, can be worth $1,200 to $3,000 in real travel. If this was useful, subscribe. We publish a new video every week showing exactly how real spending turns into real trips with real numbers. Drop a comment and tell me which program you're currently using. I read every single one. See you in the next one.